Hey guys, Cobra 8000 here, and today I'm finally putting my money where my mouth is. I complain about the potatoes and the nubs and the super good Johnny potatoes. I'm going to be offering tips. Now, I want everybody to understand something. I'm wrong a lot, so everything I say is subject to change. If there was a sticker that you could put on your tank that said certified dumbass, I'd be the first one to get it. It'd be given to me for free. I am a certified dumbass. I want that to be understood. Certified. So take everything I say with some skepticism and think about what I say and think if it makes sense. But I'm giving you tips that have helped me. So the first one, it doesn't involve the game itself, it involves Armor Inspector. Armor Inspector is a really good armor inspecting app. My brain. This app is really good. For all intents and purposes, it's really good for what it does. If I could click on things. Now, I'm going to use the E100 as a good example. I also want to use the E5. Armor. You need to learn all the armors of your tanks. Knowing your armor is important. Because of this. When you're head-on, and you're about on the same level as the E100, its armor looks like this. It's why everything can pin you, in a way, once they start loading gold. And it's why tank destroyers see you as butter. There's also this really tiny strip there, too. There's no way you can pin. There's no way. I would hope not. But this allows you to learn armors, all of that. Yeah, okay, buddy. You wish. But one thing with the E100 that I learned from one of my friends, you want to throw it over the left or right drive wheel, like this. And what this does is it makes the armor thicker. Now, you gotta get it put it just over, and it'll work like this. This gives you more armor. This won't stop IS-4s, but it will make you much harder to penetrate. Now, the reason you need to know this is because knowing how a tank's armor works can be the difference between you winning or losing. Using that as an example, modules. Modules, dumbass. Learning where the ammo racks are. You hit the side, like right here in the back, you can damage the ammo rack. The engine, the fuel tanks, which I think if you hit the fuel tanks, you can set them on fire. The engine in the front, the direct lower plate is the engine, the driver, the radio operator, more ammo racks in the side, the radio itself, the loader, commander, the gunner, 2 loaders because it's a much heavier tank. But like at the E5, we'll use that as another good example. Its ammo racks are in its front plate here on the right and left of the driver. Engine, loader. There's also another ammo rack in the back. The radio's in a more protected spot. But like with the armor on the E5, got 8 degrees of gun depression. Armor changes. The angles of the armor are different because he's above you. Most likely not going to be able to see the lower plate, but yeah. And then right here, there's this, which I don't know if you can entirely hit that, but I know you can hit the turret ring. The turret ring is pinnable. It's really hard to pin if you're in a tank that doesn't have good gun depression. If you're in a tank that has good gun depression, it's a lot easier. You know? Alright, the other one I want to use is blitz stars. Now, blitz stars, I use it to to figure out where I'm playing good, where I'm playing bad. This will tell you your overall win rate, stuff like that. Your survival, your kill ratios, your damage ratios, your spotting rate, your average damage, how many battles you've played, and your win rate for the last 30 days. The reason this is good to know is because, for me, like, I need to prove on living. That's a big problem. I die a lot. A lot. But I've improved a lot more than I have before. This will just milestones, figure out. I wish I knew more about this to explain in better ways. There's probably someone else who can explain it better. But this will tell you certain things. Stats, the period. My win rate's gone up by 8%. Average tier 2. My win 8 and win 7. I don't know what that is, technically. It's important. You just need to get it up. The higher it is, the better. That means it's if I'm correct, it's a combination of a whole bunch of different data that make up how good you are. The higher it is, the better. So get it up. My kills, I think that's kills per death ratio. KD. Spots gone up a bit, 0.02. And my survival's actually gone up by like 16%. So that's good. And then this will tell you what you've done in your tank. Damage per battle, KD, death rate, win rate, spots. Obviously, this is a bad sample. I've only had 4 battles in the E50M today, or 3 battles in the E50M today. So it's a bad example. But overall, this will tell you where you can improve on some things. This will also tell you how much you've grown over the last 30 days. It isn't perfect, but if you start seeing it go up, that is really good. Really, really good. Alright, back to World of Tanks. Here's another good tip. Play every single tank. Or every type of tank as well. Light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, and tank destroyers. Now, the reason this is important is because you want to play super heavies, brawler heavies, hull down heavies. Is there anything, like, is there a class for the 50B and how weird it is? Heavier mediums, mediums with no armor, heavier mediums like the E50M, hull down mediums, and then tank destroyers that can play much more aggressive, that have bad camo but good armor. Grill does not count. Good guns, all of that. You can position yourself in places where you can get a lot of good shots. The other thing is, you want to know what other tanks are thinking. When you're a medium tank, you want to know what a heavy tank is thinking. Heavy tank is going to try and kill a medium over another heavy tank, because the medium is much more important in terms of DPM. So it's important to try and kill the more DPM tanks. Light tanks, they want to spot, they want to get that spotting damage, they also want to get damage, and they want to run around and like a chicken with their head cut off. As a super heavy, you want to take damage, you want to try and maximize your DPM while taking the least amount of damage and making sure your teammates take no damage. That's why you play tanks like the Mouse. Another good one is brawler heavies. You want to know how a brawler heavy is thinking. Knowing how that he's thinking allows you to, 1, know if you can engage him, and 2, it lets you brawl him and probably brawl him better. The other thing is, like with an E100, you want to learn who you can trade with and who you can't. If you need to trade hit points for a kill or to push a tank out of a position, it's good to know that the E100 has like a 500 alpha. If I'm correct, a 500 or 600 alpha. I might be wrong again. 600 alpha, 500 on the heat. And of course, the HE is broken. Learning weak spots on your tanks, like the mouse chin. You can pin the cheeks, all of that. You want to learn everything you can about other tanks and other tank types. We'll get into the other thing in just a moment. Now, I want to talk about angles and what you can do to maximize your armor once you've learned it. Because just because you know your armor doesn't mean you know where to put the tank. Now, on Middleburg, there's this really good spot of where, when you're sitting at A, people like to do this. This guy, me, has just been tracked, shot in the lower plate, and has just lost half of his hit points. Now, why is this bad? One, he's tracked, which means he had to raise the repair kit. Two, he just took a shit ton of damage. What you want to do is you want to side scrape. Side scraping is the premise of sitting your tank here and making people shoot at your sides while making them think they can pin you by baiting them. It's kind of why you want to do this when you pop out. Is so if people see your turret like this, some people will instinctively just fire at the turret. And if the turret's angled, you'll bounce, most likely. And then you do this. The other thing is this minimizes how much damage you're going to tank, because not everybody is going to pin you when you poke out. Trust me, I would know. The other thing is using this. Pinging the map. Pinging the map is really important. Let's say if I'm sitting here fighting and there's a tank destroyer behind me and I notice on the map the mediums are up in our upper spawn on the 2 spawn, and I do this. Well, now, if he's paying attention, he knows that there's tanks up there. If he didn't notice them before. Or anybody else that didn't notice now notices them. Or if they're capping C. You know that they're, well, you know, here. At C. The other big thing is this. Attacking. Using the quick menu. I'm going to go get A. Or I'm going to go get B. Or I'm going to go get C. And then this. The help thing, as stupid as it sounds, it's a lot more useful than people give it credit. And then the hold position, like if you see something and you want them to hold position, your teammates will usually listen to you. But let's say you see a low hit point target, point at him, and it'll say attack X, Y, and Z. And he's on low hit points, people will usually target him if they didn't notice him. The other thing, this is more important of just like running around the map. This proves I'm an idiot. I knew this and I fucked up the other night when we were doing something. Vickers on the hill. If you sit here in a super heavy and the mediums have the hill, and there's tanks at A and there's tanks on the hill, if you know why this is bad, I'll give you a few seconds to figure it out. Alright, now I'll tell you what's bad. One, the Vickers gets your flat broadside. This thing is as big as a house. You are flat. You're like thin paper to these guys. Now, in a way, it's not bad to be a target. But, angle in. Like, if you know he's up there and you want to punish him now, poke out. Now, this can also be a bad thing. But it's like, if you get shot from 2 different directions, pull back. And just move. Move away. Now, technically speaking, even here, you can still be hit. Trying to reset your camo is another good thing. Camo resets after directly 10 seconds. So, remember that. The other important thing, learn how much gun depression you have, learn the hills. And trees in camo is important. If there's a cron back there, and like, let's say if there's a cron all the way in the back, and he's knocked over a tree or something, and I'm like right here, if the Kron's of the red line with a camo net. You can run camo net on your Kron. I most likely can't spot him. That is, what, about 300 meters? It's pretty far to the red line. Not as far as you'd like to think, but, like, you may not be able to spot him if he's back there because there's a tree in the way. And in this game, you can't shoot down trees. The other thing, just don't get hit if you don't have to. I know everybody wants to do damage. And I saved this one for last. This is the most important one. Just have fun while you're playing. Like, just play and breathe. I have anxiety. That's one of the reasons I play so badly, is my anxiety puts a lot of pressure on me. It's why, if you'll notice, whenever I get really hard playing, I start breathing hard. My anxiety has an effect on me. So yeah, try and relax a bit. And also, if you don't have to do something, don't do something. Let's say somebody's shooting you, and you don't have to poke out because your teammates will get out. Put down the phone or computer. Let go of whatever you're doing. Or at least just take your fingers off the phone. Well, that's going to be it. Guys, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you want to support my work, link to my Patreon below. And if you want to send me replays, that will be in the description below. And I will see you in the next one.